sector is clear.
Give us everything we got!
What is life? What is the reason we exist? To experience all there is to be and what is to come. I've learned to tell stories. I've learned life experiences, all really from my mom and dad. And in this literal sense, from what I'm playing at the moment, these would be stories and narrative that I learned growing up with my dad. My dad was a huge Star Wars fan, and this series is dedicated to that history while I play this game. So I hope you enjoy. I have the high ground, Anakin. Ah! All I think of, and this is what actually comes up next, really, is Star Wars. I think that was episode 3, I believe, and I rewatched everything to kind of get my memories back. But on episode 3, you know, Anakin gets sliced up by Obi-Wan. That's my next recent memory. It'd have to be right after Stephen King's Star Wars. And I never understood what was going on as a kid, but I kid you not, I remember asking my dad so many questions. What is that? What do those do? You know, what is a lightsaber? Why did he slice off his body parts? What's going on here? And you know, I'm explained. Yeah, it's a sci-fi picture. You know, we're in a fantasy world, and this kid was up to no good. He was getting himself in trouble. I mean, watching the movies now, and I realized, oh wow, you know, Anakin was falling to the dark side. And did I honestly know as a kid that Anakin was Darth Vader? I didn't see that part. That wasn't the scene I saw. You know, I'm just going from, okay, he passes away, and you got this cool guy that sounds like James Earl Jones. These are my thoughts. Because I watched, I think around the same time I saw that movie with my dad, it was like Michael Jackson, Remember the Time was on TV. They premiered it. Or maybe it was a re-premiere. Yeah, I gotta gauge that one. The memories, it's just, do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time when we first met, girl? Like, right there. It's like, do you remember, girl? And then, you know, I know that has nothing to do with, really, in my memory, it has everything to do. Because you go, remember the time, Star Wars, and I'm hearing James Earl Jones, I think back to Eddie Murphy that I saw sitting in Remember the Times, and Eddie Murphy was in Coming to America. All at the same time. I remember Coming to America, Star Wars, and Michael Jackson, right? This is all synonymous. These are the early memories my dad put me on. My dad was like, kaboom, here you go. I'm gonna put you on these things. My paraphrase. And music was big influence. My dad used to play so many tracks. He had the vinyl records. You know, he would set up an entire station to vibrate the entire house to make this music bang. I'm talking, I think early 80s music, early 70s, 50s, 60s, 90s. He had them all. He had Michael, he had Prince, he had, you know, the Bee Gees. And so the memories kind of all sync into each other. They got their own little synergy, and I think it's a relatable concept that all of this made. You know, it's just aspects of my dad that I got to see. It's funny because I look at now, 2020. I look at the way things are now, and I see, cycles of things come back in its own motion, and I say, wow, I would have loved this, and this game right here, I tell you what, it's I think I could have convinced him to play it. I think I could have convinced him to play it. Just the lightsabers. Oh, that alone, I tell you. So really, right after, I'm trying to gauge my age. I'm 7. I remember wanting a playground, a swing set. I don't even remember how I convinced him, but he had got one. He said, we're going to build a swing set. He got all the tools, had all the bits, all the pieces. And I remember helping put it together. And we set that up outside with my older brother.
You holding up okay?
And then,
Good. Yeah.
you know, I think the memories goes a pop boom. There's a playground. There's a swing set. You know, you got your swings. You got your. How many swings? There's 2, 3, 3 of them, or 4,
Do anything like that before.
3. Yeah, let's say it was 3.
We've been through some hell together.
And those are the, you know, being on a swing as a kid, that's the greatest feeling in the world. You know, still have it till today. It's a longest standing thing I've seen.
I don't know how to repay you.
Not true. I've seen houses, but
You don't have to
we
worry
built the swing and it's still up. It's cool. It's cool.
about this place.
One of those memorize that'll never go. And really after that, you know, my dad's very strict, so it was school, being on tops of the 1s and 2s, math,
Heard he was up on
calculations, the whole 9 yards. And why?
You won't be seeing me for a while, bro.
Because
Yeah, okay. Okay, Cal.
my dad kind of sounded like that. Trust only the Force. No, maybe not. Maybe not. It felt appropriate though. And so I look at presently what I would look at is just that space of things. I look at my cooking with my dad, things I've learned from that, and really my dad got me games. Talking about the Game Boy Advance, my twin and I had to share one. We did not want to, but we did because it was like that's all we had to get to play on. And you know, hey, you know, you do good in school. You get a treat.
Wait up.
And you get a gift. To get a reward. Game Boy was the reward. Game Boy Advance. It was black. Coolest thing ever. I think the first game I got to own was Pokemon Ruby, and then my twin respectively got a Mega Man and Bass. Yeah, I tell you what, those it started something. It started something for sure. The exploration, the curiosity, and the adventure, the daring activity to get things done. My dad honestly fostered a lot of those kind of energies in this, with everything that he did. We were like his little, like henchmen. Not henchmen. That's not the right word. It's only because I'm thinking Star Wars right now. We're like clone soldiers. But we were totally like in that. Oh, is this your hat? Would you like it? Come and take it. Oh, I don't know. My parents said not to take anything from strangers. Oh, well, my name is Pennywise. What's your name? Georgie. Well, okay, Georgie. You know my name, and I know yours. We're friends now. Would you like your hat? Yeah. Oh, okay. Come and take it. Ooh. All right. So just imagine for a second. That's what you remember when you first think of your memory. Just like, hey, what was my first memory with my dad? That's what I remember. Why do I remember that? These are the questions. I think it's the shock value. It's Stephen King's It. That's what I grew up watching. You know, sci-fis, you know, fantasies, the whole 9 yards. I loved it. But I tell you what, Pennywise stayed forever. Stayed forever. And that right there is the first memory I got with my dad. thinking of Georgie, Pennywise, an old lady with blood tea back, I think the 80s. The 80s Stephen King's, not the new one. No, the 90s. 90s. It was in the 90s. It had to be in the 90s. I was in the 96ers, so whenever I remembered it, it was on the telly and whatnot. And so, you know, I look back and I laugh. But at the time, I was horrified. Oh my, can you imagine some Pennywise nonsense? Oh, and my dad would always say, picture's just a picture. It can't hurt you. It can't do anything to you. It's on the screen. It's on the screen. I mean, I'd argue it, but hey. It worked. It worked. It worked. Even though when you're a little baby, when you just, you know, and so that's something that always stays with me. I'll never forget it.
I've been working on this heap a long time. Way before the war. We refit and rebuilt ships. Best in the galaxy. Then came the Empire. And engineers became scrappers. The workers, they just started getting worked.
Prof.
We all know the truth. We're just too afraid to say it. To the Empire, we're all just expendable.
Yes, you are.
No!
Look at this. A lightsaber.
I found the Jedi!
What's that? Checking out the disturbance.
Oh, that hurts.
Hold it. Go.
So yeah, no, these are the things that constitute the
Easy now.
this fun, light, bright narrative that I was able to enjoy all of my dad's. This is just a couple of the first stories that come to mind. And so throughout this series, as you'll come to see, we've got more stories in store. A good 20 years of stories. And so that's really where we get a lot of our narrative as we continue this beautifully illustrated Star Wars game. So stay tuned for that kind of stuff, guys, because Picasso's going to be bringing it to you one way or another. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.